Crowded Reviews, and the 23rd of December is upon us. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. And today, for opening that 23rd door in our 2020 Advent Calendar of Christmas horror movies, I'd like to take a look at the 2020 movie, The Lodge. Written and directed by Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz, also written by Sergio Casci. This is a movie that, in all honesty, I can tell you what I thought of it, but to tell you why I thought of it that way, I'm going to have to get into spoilers. So what I'm going to do is a spoiler for review here, and then I will also do an accompanying Spoiled Rotten segment where I talk about it freely in just a few moments. So if you've already seen the movie and you want to get into more of a spoilery discussion about it, please look for that video instead. But this video will be safe for people that haven't seen it yet. And so this movie opens up by introducing us to the characters of Aiden and Mia, a pair of juvenile siblings that are undergoing a little bit of a tough time. They are being thrown into the deep end by their father in terms of forming a relationship with their stepmother. He plans on marrying her, and it's just a situation that is altogether uncomfortable for very specific reasons I'm not going to go into here. Suffice it to say, there is some pretty extreme pushback. And so what does the father decide to do? Well, let's go ahead and take them all out to a remote cabin where they can interact and basically be kind of trapped together. And of course, as soon as they arrive, the father has a phone call and he must skedaddle, now leaving an awkward situation even more awkward until strange shit starts happening. Now that was a very generalized 5 Mile High overview of the plot, I do admit that, but as I was watching this, I was getting a very strong sense of deja vu. Not to the degree where I thought that I had actually seen this before and simply forgot, but more just kind of getting shades of a very familiar plot. And then I remembered the 2020 Carrie Harris movie, Dreamcatcher, with Henry Thomas and Lynn Shay. And I was really desperately hoping that this movie would not only deviate from that, but be a whole lot better, because Dreamcatcher is a whole different deal. And I was very pleased to find, well, I guess pleased is an interesting word to put, but yes, I was pleased to find that this was heads and tails significantly better. This was a fantastic movie. If you're wanting to watch a horror movie that'll keep you on the edge of your seat in terms of wondering when the next big shocking thing and loud noise and jump scare and so forth is going to happen, this probably is one to pass on. This is a little bit of a slower ilk, but I maintain that it is way more horrifying than anything a jump scare could provide. I think that there's been a real influx of very slow, methodical, mumblegore kind of horror movies. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I have no issue with movies that are very, let's just say, purposefully paced. But some of them have gone overboard and have been way more style over substance, and the effect of having such a drawn-out storyline and plot line and very long camera angles and so forth just serves to just put me to sleep. And I was really pleased that although this one does wind up in the category of a slow burn, it kept me on the edge of my seat in terms of just terror. Not at jump scares and so forth, but just terror at what could possibly continue going on from here, because it's consistently ramping up the stakes. And without going into spoilers, what I will say is that mysterious elements do start happening in here, and it gets the audience kind of theorizing. At least it did with me. It's one of my favorite things in the world about watching horror movies, is when mysterious elements start happening and the ball starts rolling in a way that gets me theorizing, gets situations brought up in my head, and start analyzing evidence and try to come to some sort of conclusion, and striking out that conclusion because this piece of evidence happened, and maybe it's this one, but then 5 minutes later it's proven that it couldn't be because this character was over here. That shit I love. And The Lodge proved to be a movie in which one of the theories that I had pretty early on was in fact what was going on. So I'm going to say that it really didn't offer a big surprise in terms of the what's, but major surprises in terms of the hows. And not just the hows of the mysterious circumstances that were going on, but also of the ramifications and consequences once the mystery got revealed from there. It was haunting, it was terrifying, it was dreadful, and it was wondrous for a horror fan. I'm going to be perfectly honest, this advent calendar situation has really kind of put me under the gun in terms of time, but once I do have some free time and this whole thing is over and I can rest and relax, I am going to be meditating on this, because I dare say that this is one of the best horror movies that I've seen in 2020, and the real difficulty for me right now is determining whether or not it actually was the best. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it might be, and I gotta give that some thought. And so that should about wrap up the spoiler-free review of this, because honestly, if I keep talking, I'm going to give some stuff away, and I really don't want to. Suffice it to say, I absolutely, heartily recommend the 2020 movie, The Lodge. Thank you so much for watching this. If you want to get into spoiler discussions and so forth, please look for my accompanying Spoiled Rotten video, going to be coming out around the same time as this video. So thank you again. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.